All right, chapter 5 of the goal. Have you ever found yourself in a work meeting? Maybe you lose a little bit of attention. Maybe it's a big meeting, it's a warm afternoon, it's after lunch. You start to feel a little sleepy. Maybe you drift off, you daydream a little bit, but when you come to, everybody's looking at you and you got a question. Questions come to you. And you kind of snap to, and for a little bit, you're kind of surly because you've just left this daydream and now you realize you're in the dismal confines of some bland corporate conference room, and you've got everyone looking at you to give the answer. That's the way I picture Alex Rogo kicking off chapter 5, right? He has been on this kind of 2-week flash in the past where he gets some tutoring from Jonah, where we really start to introduce the theory of constraints earlier in chapter 4. But now he's back on the same timeline that he was chapters 1 through 3. In chapter 5, he's in this conference room, same conference room he was in kicking off chapter 3 before he found the cigar that kind of teleported him away to the flashback that was chapter 4. And now he's surrounded by all these people, and he's in a corporate meeting where nothing makes sense to him. And some great quotes in here. The quote I love best from this chapter, he says, Goldratt writes, "Our tribe is dying, and we're dancing in our ceremonial smoke to exorcise the devil that's ailing us." So he's literally writing about a cargo cult, where people are dancing about, they don't really know what's going on, and they're pretending that what they're doing is going to be effective. Just like the corporate meeting that Rogo finds himself stuck in. Another great quote is, "You're just playing a lot of games with numbers and words." And again, he goes on, he takes kind of the epiphany from the conversation with Jonah, the mentor, in chapter 4, and he says, what is the real goal? Nobody here has even asked anything that basic. Because if you've got a room full of people in a conference room and everyone isn't aligned on the common goal, then you're having a conversation about nothing. So again, Rogo is sitting in this, and he does something that I think everybody wishes they would have done at some point in their career. He looks to his right, he looks to his left, and stands up and leaves. Just says, "I'm done with this meeting." He's worried about his plant. We know from chapter 1 that they were late getting parts out. We know that the company is not doing well through all the exposition. Again, chapters 1 through 5 here are really set up. All the way up to chapter 9 is really set up. But he knows he's got a better place to be, and there's a better use of his time than sitting in that corporate meeting. So he's kind of listened to all this corporate spiel, all these kind of confusing numbers going back and forth that aren't consistent. And most importantly, as we know under theory of constraints, there isn't a clear goal, right? So what is the purpose of that meeting? Does the meeting have a clear goal? Does the team that's meeting about that meeting, do they have a clear goal? And without that, what's the point of it all? So he goes, leaves the meeting, picks up a pizza, and then again, picture Goldratt here. He's writing his first novel, and he can just be so literal and so transparent in the metaphors that he uses that you've got to love the sincerity of the moment that Rogo somehow drives and finds this vantage point where he looks down from above upon his plant. So he's seeking nourishment and sustenance for himself and taking himself to a higher plane, a higher level to get the big picture, right? So the big picture of what is going on with his plant. And when he does that, again, he's sitting here and he's trying to internalize all of the lessons that he's recalling from his conversations with Jonah in chapter 4. Jonah is, in my view, the personification of our hero and author, Eliyahu Goldratt. And he lays it out real clearly as he's sitting there with his pizza. Again, the bird's eye view, the 20,000 foot view. Think of all your consultant lingo you've ever heard, looking down on the plant. And 2 great quotes. One, actually, he comes later. He says, "The goal of a manufacturing organization is to make money," right? And that's the goal of so many organizations. And this last quote is, "If the goal is to make money, then putting in terms Jonah might have used, an action that moves us towards making money is productive, and an action that takes away from making money is non-productive." So 2 scenes, the meeting and the high vantage point. Great chapter. You'll love it.